So you, dear brother or sister, are approaching your confirmation, are currently picking your confirmation saint, and you have been thinking about Saint Michael, the Archangel, as your saint, and wants to know if you should pick him. This guide, I hope and pray, will help you making a decision. And the way I've formatted this video will be a short biography, attributes of the saints, and how the saints relates to you. Saint Michael led the army of angels who cast Satan and his followers to hell, which we all know, but this is far prior to any human history. Saint Michael defended the body of Moses, though, after he had died due to the fact that the devil wanted to use the body for the temptation of idolatry. Yet Michael prevented it. This is stated in Jude 1:9. But if we go a couple hundred years before Moses, the church fathers would place Saint Michael at the gate of Eden after the fall of man, and he was also the angel through whom God published the Ten Commandments, through Moses, well, then later. He also was the one who blocked the passage of Balaam in Numbers 22:20, and who destroyed the army of Sennacherib in 2 Chronicles 32:21. In the year 590, a plague spread in Rome. Pope St. Gregory the Great led procession through the streets as an act of penance, seeking the forgiveness of and atoning for sin. And at the tomb of Hadrian, which is now Castle Sant'Angelo, which is a nest of St. Peter's Basilica, St. Michael appeared and sheathed his sword, indicating the end of the plague. Pope Gregory the Great then later built a chapel at the top of the tomb, and to this day, a large statue of St. Michael remains there from Pope Gregory. Later in the 12th century, Pope Leo XIII in 1884 received a prophetic vision, that vision being
drums of war.
It was war that he saw representing the coming 20th century of war and sorrow. He saw the
devil himself.
After celebrating Mass, the Holy Father was confirmed with the Cardinal. Suddenly, he passed out and fell to the floor. The Cardinal thought he had died due to no pulse being detected from a doctor, but then Pope Leo awoke and said, "What a horrible picture I was permitted to see." He stated that he saw God gave Satan the choice of one century in which to do his worst against the church. The devil chose the 20th century. This vision then led Pope Leo to create the St. Michael prayer, which we now recite at the end of Mass. And I actually want to go to the beginning of time, at the expulsion of the devil from heaven. This is described in Revelation 12:7-12 as the following. And a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon and his angels fought back, but they were defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. The great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who was called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven proclaiming, "Now have come the salvation, the power, and the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our comrades has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before our God. They have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. For they did not cling to life even in the face of death. Rejoice then, you heavens and those who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you with great wrath, because he knows that his time is short." Saint Michael the Archangel, whose name means one who is like God. In Catholic tradition, Saint Michael's main duties has been complied to continue to wage war against Satan and demons, and within that exists to save and protect the souls of the faithful from the power of Satan during our lives, and especially at the hour of our death. And finally, to lead the dead from this life and present them to our Lord for judgment, and at the end of time for final judgment. Greek church fathers such as St. Basil the Great rank St. Michael as the prince of all angels. Eventually, though, as scholasticism rose, so did the doctrine of the 9 choirs of angels, which led to St. Michael, who was the prince of the seraphim then, being the highest choir. However, St. Thomas Aquinas assigned St. Michael as the prince of the lowest choir, being the angels. St. Michael is the patron of military personnel, and is also very heavily venerated, considering he is the one who waged war against Satan. So if you are going to participate in the military and make a career out of it, or joining the military, who is the better general to lead you? The same patronage applies to police, especially police officers. So if you're going to join your local police department, Michael is still your patron. St. Michael is also invoked from other paramilitary groups, such as firefighters, paramedics, and other first responders. St. Michael is also the patron of bankers, grocers, and the dying. This is due to the fact how he will enact God's righteous judgment, and since he is depicted with a scale to weight soils. So if you are going into this field or already in these fields, intercede for St. Michael. He is lastly the patron of the dying, considering one of his duties is to protect the souls of the faithful and battle the devil. Yet hopefully you're not picking him solely for that reason.